All right, welcome back and thanks for staying with us. As the voting continues in Osun State, we want to bring quite a number of perspectives to the events that are currently unfolding across the state. And so we have a guest seated right here in the studio, Mr. Caleb Onwe. He's a journalist and a period development communication professional. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you very much.
Well, it's been an interesting unfolding of things in Osun State. And first of all, I personally will commend the people of Osun State for coming out, in the number that they currently are coming out now to vote for the elections. But for you, sitting and watching how this has been unfolding, what do you make of this election today?
Yes, thank you very much. The Osun State election is one place that a lot of things are going to play out.
Okay.
Given a number of factors. Number one, we know that the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria has a roots in Osun State. So he is very much interested in who becomes the governor of Osun State. And there are also other interested parties who also would want things to go their own way. But from the clips I have seen a number of people who are already out in the street with the enthusiasm that is needed in a democracy. They're interested in casting their vote. They're interested in determining who becomes their leader in a democratic setting like ours. And I am not trying to be pessimistic, but I am saying that at the end of the day, there may be some disruptions, but a winner must march. And my plea to INEC and to security agencies is this. They should allow the people to choose who will be their governor.
Right.
They should allow the law to run its full course. We have the Constitution of Nigeria. We have the Electoral Act. The INEC should remain the unbiased umpire it is. Security agencies should also play the game by the rule. They should not be out there in the field protecting the interests of certain people. They should be out there in the field protecting the interests of Nigerians, protecting the interest of Osun electorate, Osun voters who may have defied all odds and have come out to elect who their next governor will be.
We've seen that the build-up to the election has been a long one and somehow also a very turbulent one so far. But if you're going to summarize the happenings in Osun State, what are going to be like the three top things on your list?
All right. From what the media has been carrying about the happenings in Osun, we have seen vote buying, the tendency for vote buying is going to be there. We have also seen some hints about people who are not interested in following the process. They want to shortcuts. They want to go through shortcuts. They want to make sure that there is violence so that people will be threatened, people will not come out to vote. We have also seen militarization of the Osun State. People have complained that in a democratic setting, the number of military people that have been deployed to Osun shouldn't be. Because there are some electorate who will get intimidated. Prospective voters who will see this number of security people on the street and will be intimidated to come out. So we are going to see, number one, there's going to be vote buying because some political parties are bent on changing the rule and making sure that things go their own way.
From observation, have you seen any of the parties that are working towards bending the rules? From your observation?
Of course, yes.
All right.
if I should mention names.
Go ahead,
Yes,
please.
please.
APC is desperately working to change the rules and make sure that their candidate wins. Because, why did I say so? We have seen video clips of some APC members who were dishing out money. And we have not heard that EFCC arrested any of them. We have also heard about a member of Osun State House of Assembly who was arrested with firearms. He was arrested but has been released. That is an encouragement to other people who may also have the same plans to unleash mayhem, to unleash violence on voters. So if the security agencies are prepared to provide a level playing ground for all contestants, all the political parties in Osun State, anyone found with any tendency to cause mayhem, to cause violence, should be arrested and let the person face the law.
All right. Mr. Caleb, I don't know how much of the profile of this candidates you have followed through with, because we recently just did an analysis of some of their profiles. So I don't know how much of those profiles that you are, conversant with. However, I'd like to ask, from all 15 of these candidates, and I'll say 13 now because 2 have stepped down for Governor Ademola Adeleke, who do you think comes with the political knowledge, the willpower, and what it takes to take Osun from where it is right now to where it needs to be?
Thank you very much. When it comes to politics, sometimes your profiles don't matter much to the people.
Why? How so?
They are interested in somebody that will be elected and will be able to meet their aspirations and expectations. In Osun State, I am aware that the current governor is from a very prominent family in Osun State. Right. And I have also heard that the people of Osun are so much in love with this family because of the philanthropic activities they have been carrying out, because of the impact they have made on the lives of the ordinary people in Osun State. So I am saying that that is enough pedigree that will give the incumbent governor an advantage over other people. I have also learned that the APC candidate was a former commissioner in the previous government. That is also a profile, even though that people have put a tag on him, accusing him of cooperating with the governor then not to withhold salaries that are meant for the workers. So he has a pedigree. But if I should forecast, given my knowledge, because besides being a communicator, I am also a political scientist.
Okay.
So going by that, I would say that if the election is allowed to be free and fair, the incumbent governor will cruise to victory.
But we have seen immense support for Ambo, in the social space. And in fact, most recently, we saw a member of Accord Party, the national chairman for Accord Party. Factional now, because INEC had come out to clarify that. Now, he came out and openly threw the heart of the Accord out, and now supporting adopting Ambo. Now, we have seen many other people come out and speak about their support to Ambo. So do you think that Adeleke still stands a chance? Because yes, he's a governor who is also popular. He's quite loved for his philanthropic activities that he does carry out within the state. And in fact, he's a dancing governor. But
what you see on the social spaces are not the reality on ground.
Okay. Really?
Yes.
Why do you
By the time you go to Osun and talk to average citizen of Osun on the street, you will get to understand the realities on the ground. You understand me? So from what I have seen as a political scientist, I am telling you that if the election is allowed to be free and fair, the power of incumbency will come to play, number one. The love that Osun people have for the family of Adelekes will also come to play.
Okay.
Don't forget that the popular musician, Davido, is also from that family, and he is loved. So you cannot undermine his impact, his influence in Osun State. So all these factors put together, I can beat my chest and tell you that if federal might is allow Osun people to choose their leader, the incumbent governor will still win.
So do you think there's an infiltration of the federal might right now in Osun State?
Of course, yes. There is.
Okay.
How so?
Tell us about it.
The Minister of Blue Economy, who is also the former governor, from what we have seen on news, he had already mobilized federal might, going about intimidating people in the street of Osun State.
They're also going about intimidating people in the state of Osun State?
Yes, we have seen it on news, how he uses security agencies to intimidate people. We have also heard about some of the APC members backed by the federal might who are also threatening. Don't forget that one of the senators from Osun State had issued a threat. If you see any member of Accord, kill them.
He rephrased that statement.
He rephrased, but let me tell you that he cannot deceive Nigerians. He rephrased it because of the backlash. He rephrased it because he was advised to rephrase it. But the initial comment still stands. That's the threat. In a democratic system, such threat shouldn't come in. Shouldn't come in. He was brought to force headquarters and was questioned and was released to go back. So I want to see a situation where if you threaten the peace of Osun State because of election, you should be arrested and kept in custody so that other people who are also planning to do the same thing will be deterred.
Okay. Now, before we got into this conversation this morning, we started off by talking about vote buying. And we had varying perspectives regarding vote buying. Victor said something, and in his comments, he said the citizens also play a part as to why this is something that has come to stay and has eaten deep into the fabric of our electoral system. But much more than that, I see politicians who have weaponized poverty to the point that people can no longer think ahead. They just think immediate. So what is your perspective on vote buying in Nigeria, and then as regards what we see in Osun State?
Thank you very much. I subscribe to those who say that government, who blame government for weaponizing poverty. That is just a problem. I also blame voters who will say their birthright because of a bag of salt, because of a mudu of rice, because of note of 500 naira or 1,000 naira. These people should know that if they collect all these things and vote against their conscience, they are also selling their future to these politicians who will emerge tomorrow and not care about the people. Because in Nigeria here, politicians will come with all manner of manipulations, taking advantage of the hunger and poverty that has been weaponized to get the people to vote against their conscience and give them victory. But once they get to power, they will forget about the people who voted them. So I would want the people of Osun State to know that if you sell your PVC, if you sell your vote to any politician, you are selling your birthright. Tomorrow, by the time they begin to amass wealth, tomorrow, by the time they begin to use the victory you enable them to get to oppress you, don't complain. So my perspective on vote buying is this. Government should take it very seriously. EFCC, to me, they were overzealous by rushing to freeze the account of the governor or the government of Osun State. How many of the vote buying agents of other parties we saw on video have been arrested? If you have heard of any, I have not heard of anyone. So my advice is that EFCC should take their job seriously. Go after these politicians who are using our commonwealth to buy vote for themselves, to empower themselves, and to get people to help them to victory. They should be arrested and prosecuted. I have not heard of anyone that has been prosecuted. So EFCC should do justice to that.
Definitely. And of course, earlier you talked about your concern about the military presence in Osun State. But do recall as well that the build-up to this election came with some allegations of violence and also some confirmed cases of violence as well, which led to the number of police personnel that we have in Osun State, also some the military personnel we have in Osun State. In fact, we spoke to the police officers this morning, and of course, they of course talked about the fact that the reason that they are there is to ensure that there is peace, relative peace in Osun State, precisely. And if you also see the numbers of persons that have come out to vote, you can see that the number is also encouraging, according to a report that we've gotten from our correspondents that are in Osun State at this point in time. But of course, you had your concern about that. But don't you think that the presence of the military, the presence of the Nigerian police has also helped to build the confidence of the citizens and residents of Osun State, and that's also led to the mass number of voters coming out?
Yeah, thank you very much. One fact you should also not ignore is this. The Osun election is happening in interior places. These interior people, these local people, many of them have not seen this type of number of security people deployed.
Present.
So what comes to their mind when they see battalion of soldiers and other security agents in their area is fear. Psychologically, fear will come. And many of them will not want to go out to vote because they're intimidated already by the presence of these people. I thank the government for taking that decision to deploy the military to ensure that there is peace. But in a democratic setting, there should be a limit. There should be a limit to the actions that these people are supposed to embark upon. They should also play by the rule. No, I keep saying play by the rule. The rule of engagement. Every security agency has rule of engagement. The security agents should not become too overzealous because of inducement that may have come from any politician. Because from what we have seen from previous elections is that some of these security agents will allow themselves to be induced by politicians. And once they are induced, they will also become agents of destabilization to the election processes. So they shouldn't do that. They should allow the law to run its course. They should adhere to the rule of law. Because the law has provided how they should engage in a democratic setting. So I advise them to abide by the law, allow the law to influence their actions, allow the laws to guide them. The Electoral Act is there.
Of course.
It provides on how they should provide security. They shouldn't go above it. They shouldn't be loyal to politicians. They should be loyal to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
All right, Mr. Caleb. I'll take us back a bit to the conversation we had about credentials, the candidates' credentials. And sometime, I think last month rather, INEC released the credentials of the presidential candidates of 2027 general elections. And we found that that of a sitting president right now is missing all the way from primary to secondary. All he had was the university credentials, which he presented to INEC. And when citizens started to complain about it, INEC said it was not in their responsibility to do that. They would only publish what is being given to them. Now, you said that when I said, look at the portfolio of these candidates, it's quite robust and they look like they have a lot to offer. You made mention of something. You said it is not about their credentials, it is about what they can offer. But then again, we see certain candidates who behave in very uncivilized manner, trying to bring about thuggery in the electioneering process. Don't you think that the credentials of these people in some sort of way tells us about who they are, what they have interacted with, and if they are befitting candidates that can even be fielded at all before we talk about whether or not they have it?
My dear, let us not deceive ourselves. In this country, even education does not stop thuggery. We have seen professors who are even the ringleaders of third-grade groups, third-grade gangs. So I still maintain that what matters is not your profile, it's not your pedigree. What matters is what you can offer.
How would you know what a person can offer when you do? I think these certificates are just like a trajectory of who a person is. Okay, while we were reading that, we saw that some were bankers, some were chartered accountants. They have done something. So looking at those credentials, you can now say, oh, maybe this person might be able to fix the economy of the country because they have managed social agency for a period of time. So how do you know a person can do something if you don't know what their background looks like?
What is achieved in any government is not just solely depending on the person who becomes the arrowhead.
Okay.
It depends on the people he surrounds himself with.
Okay.
The governor of Edo State, the governor, does he have a robust profile? He doesn't have, but he's performing. So what matters is...
Arguably, though.
Eh?
Arguably, anyways. The people of Edo also have their
good.
complaints
It's
about
arguably.
it.
Yeah.
But this is my own perception
Okay.
of what is happening in Edo State. What I am saying is this. When you win, you should be able to surround yourself with people who understands the principles you don't understand. Get technocrats. Get people who can do what you cannot do to be in your government. Let me come back to whether what INEC said about President Tinubu's educational credentials. Our laws need to be amended. If you look at the laws, it says primary 6 certificate is acceptable. Some said WAEC result is acceptable. So if we want to start measuring on one's credentials, then our laws must be amended to accommodate all those things.
Okay, but let's go back to the election of today as well. Let's access INEC. Now looking at the things that are going on ground, how would you access INEC's preparedness and what the management of today's election as well? Do recall that Godwin Sunday, who is in Ede, gave us a report that the beavers currently is malfunctioning now in Ede after the governor has casted his vote. But what do you have to make of INEC's preparedness and the management of the election today thus far?
This is my opinion.
It's the way you personalize it before you go on about it.
I don't have any iota of trust in INEC.
Why so?
Because what played out during the 2023 election can still play out.
But they had a better outing in Ekiti State, to be fair on INEC. And most of the candidates came out and said the exact same thing. Civil society organizations also gave an assessment of what the election for Ekiti State looked like. Don't you think we should give them the benefit of doubt?
You know why I said so?
Tell us.
Because in Ekiti State, the incumbent governor was a member of APC. He contested, and he's still a member of APC.
Yeah.
But in Osun State, the incumbent governor, is an Accord party.
Yeah.
So APC would want to use everything within their reach, which includes the INEC. The INEC chairman who appointed, he was appointed by the president, who is a member of APC. And if the president has decided that Osun State must come back to APC's fold, they can use INEC.
But
INEC
Mr.
is
Caleb,
independent.
INEC is independent, and the fact that the president is his
Appointed.
constitutional responsibility to appoint the INEC chairman. So does that in any way mean that the INEC chairman will go on to do his bidding?
Haven't we seen what happened? We are not strangers in this country. We are all citizens here. We have been here for a very long time. So we have seen that INEC is said to be independent, but in actual sense, they are not independent. They can still do the biddings of the man who appoints them. They can still do the biddings of the man, because who pays the piper dictates the tone. Are you telling that INEC may have prepared very well, but in 2023 election we had this one started malfunctioning. But in other aspects of the election, it didn't malfunction. So why should that of the presidential election, why should the beaver malfunction, or the electronic system through which they transmit elections started malfunctioning?
No, so now I'm not trying to defend INEC, right? But we've had several conversations with them regarding this particular situation. And they gave a response which I do think might fly. And in their defense, they said, for presidential elections, people are more concerned about the presidency, much more than the senatorial seats that are also being contested during elections like this. So because of that, there was like a heavy jam because many people were visiting the portal at the same time, which caused a hitch and then eventual shutdown of that system. So now they have said they are committed to fixing that and deploying other levels of technology for this election. So do you think that this is still the same story, but different narrative, you know?
I am a Nigerian and I can tell you that it is still the same stories. It is still the same system. The people who are behind the technology they use, they are Nigerians. They can't be influenced. They can't be bribed. So I am telling you that I don't have confidence in whatever preparation that INEC has made regarding the Osun election. Anything could happen.
So for people who share your thought pattern, basically, people who have also lost confidence on INEC, right? What would you then say, or what would you want, to happen to rejig, or to even bring a reform on INEC that could actually lead to people like you, to regain the trust of INEC?
In the system.
There should be amendments to the provisions of the Constitution which empowers the president to appoint the chairman of INEC. If INEC must be independent, if it must be an unbiased umpire, the chairman shouldn't be appointed by the president. The National Assembly should be able to determine who becomes the president can recommend, but the approval should come from National Assembly, where not just one person is involved, where not just one party is involved. There are other parties who are there, party members who are there to either oppose or to approve. So my opinion is that the law, the provisions of the Constitution which empowers the president to appoint INEC chairman should be amended.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Caleb. We're still going on with the conversation, but we'll go out on a very quick break, and when we get back, we'll keep up with the conversation.
Thank you very much.
It's still Osun Decides. We're talking about accreditation, voting, and the entire process of the election. Please stay with us. Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us. It is still Osun Decides. And yes, we have been with Mr. Caleb Onwe. He's a journalist, PR and development communication professional. We have been doing a bit of assessment on what the election before and now during is about and what it has looked like. Thank you so much for joining us on the conversation this morning.
Thank you.
I mean, there's so many other aspects that would want to look out, but there are three major candidates for today's election. And I think that the entire populace is quite crowded by the tension that exists between these three parties as well. Who is going to emerge? Because they are quite strong contenders among all three of them. But much more than that, what do you think that the people of Osun should be looking out for aside these three popular people for the elections today?
Thank you very much. During the town hall meeting organized by one of the national televisions, where some of these candidates were featured, where they read out their manifestos, I followed it closely and I saw their performances. All of them performed creditably very well by my own estimation. But I expect Osun people to look beyond the promises that have been made by these people. They should also look beyond some of the cosmetic things that have been displayed by these people. Their concern should be who among these candidates will be able to provide for some people the good life they deserve. Who among these candidates will be able to provide the good governance that is needed in Osun State. Osun people should also look beyond all the inducements coming from these politicians and remember that what happens today has the key to what they'll be experiencing in the next 4 years. So they should be futuristic in their thinking. They shouldn't just look at what is happening today. They should look beyond today and be able to choose somebody who will give them exactly what they need.
Now, of course, this Osun governorship election is happening less than a year to the 2027 general election, right? And whilst we're having conversation here, breast analysis, we've talked about the fact that this is going to be another litmus test for INEC. But how much of Osun governorship election is going to be like a rehearsal for INEC come 2027 general election?
Of course, yes. Because I know that most of the technology they acquired, this is an opportunity for them to test it. So whatever is the outcome of Osun State's governorship election, INEC should be able to go back to the drawing board and look at how many beavers malfunctioned, how much results did we get from the technologies we relied on. If any one of them failed, this is an opportunity for them to go back and fix it so that they will be able to give to Nigerians what they deserve come 2027 general election.
And what do you think is one of the factors that people should be watching out for, in this election, just outside Osun? As of those that are outside Osun State, what is one of those factors that individuals should be looking out for this election?
All right. One of the factors they should be looking out for is this. From the reports I have seen on the media, APC has deployed more than 10 sitting governors to Osun State. That kind of external interference, influence, shouldn't be.
Don't you see that as a support to their own candidates as well?
It shouldn't be. The incumbent governor has also raised an alarm over the presence of the wreck of Ebonyi State in Osun State.
No, but that's, they are supporting RECs, because I remember for like the AMAC elections, they have a REC in the FCT, but from Port Harcourt and other parts, it's something that they literally do.
Right.
Other supporting RECs go to supervise what happens in other states. So I don't think that's exactly out of place.
If it is actually to support, and they support according to the law, in line with the provisions of the law, no problem. Okay. So, but the factors they should look out for is external influence that may affect the outcomes of the election. Okay.
All right. You happen to be a supporter of Governor Ademola Adeleke because you have expressed your admiration for him. But let's look at something that I don't think a lot of people are considering in the candidacy for this election. Osun State is sitting on a very significant mineral wealth. I'm talking about gold, talc, kaolin, tristone, feldspar, many natural resources. And according to studies, it says that over 15 million ounces of gold in areas like Atakumonsa East and West and Ife. All of this is what the people of Osun has. Now, we have a sitting governor, Ademola Adeleke, with the kind of wealth that is seated in Osun State. Do you think that he has properly harnessed that for the development of the state? Because I can talk about some of the candidates who made mention of the fact that he's looking at developing about 5 billion naira for the state to increase the revenue of the state. For a state that has this level of wealth in mineral resources sitting in their land, they're supposed to be a more remarkable kind of growth and development here. Do you think that the sitting governor right now has done enough with harnessing these natural resources for the development of the people within his state?
Thank you very much. Well, first of all, let me tell you, I am a journalist.
Okay.
All
I
right.
am not a supporter of any of
Okay.
All right.
the candidates. But I only have sympathy for him.
Okay.
I only have sympathy for him as a political scientist.
Okay.
I have sympathy for him. But to answer your question, what we see in Osun State is not just peculiar to Osun State. It cuts across all states where you see massive natural resources that governments are supposed to take advantage of, but they're not doing. In my estimation, not just Adeleke, the governor of Osun State, that have not done well in terms of exploring these resources, taking advantage of them to build the economy of their state,
Right.
but it affects other states too. Like in my state, I'm from Ebonyi State. Most of these governors, what they're interested in is the money that comes from Abuja on a monthly basis. In my state, Ebonyi State, there are a lot of natural minerals that should be exploited, that should be taken advantage of to build the economy of the state, but they're not doing it. So I think what beclouds the reasoning of these governors is the money they're getting from the federal allocation. And considering the fact that with the government of President Bola Tinubu, their governors are getting more money now.
Yeah.
So they have been intoxicated by this money, the huge amount of money that is coming from the federal government, that they overlook the resources at their backyard, the resources they should have developed, the resources they have taken advantage of to develop their state. They're overlooking it because of the money they're getting from the federal allocation. So it is not just the problem of Adeleke, but the problem of politicians in Nigeria here.
Let's talk about some of the realignments that's gone on, in the course of this election. We've seen at least two contenders, withdraw from the race and, drop their support to Adeleke. We've seen that of the APM, who stepped down and said he was going to be supporting the re-election of the incumbent governor of the state. What influence do you think this realignment and later pulling out of these candidates could actually do in the election?
One thing you should first of all think is, what is the support base of these people? The two candidates that have declared support for. How many supporters do they have? So I am not, it doesn't excite me that they are, at first, you should even know that some of them are not really contenders. They came to bargain. Because in politics, you have contenders, you have bargainers. These guys may have come to bargain, use their platform to bargain for their benefit, that should accrue with them. So I am not excited that these people have withdrawn from the race and now supporting the incumbent governor. What I'm interested in knowing is, what is their support base? How many people do they have? Do they even have any electoral value in their state? Because some of these people don't have any electoral value. So by the time somebody who doesn't have electoral value, forget about what you see on the televisions. They will hire people and you think these people are their supporters. Some of these people will be defeated even in their polling units.
So they don't have the electoral strength to even contest for the governorship, basically.
That's the point I'm making. They may not have the electoral strength.
But do you think that the outcome of this election, is going to be generally accepted, by all political parties involved? If any of them wins, if all parties are going to be, accept who the winner is, or do you see a legal battle, looming as well?
Especially because they had signed the peace accord shortly before the elections.
My brother, in this country, after elections, there are people who want to make money from politicians. So no matter how free and fair any election is adjudged to be, there must be legal battle after it. Because there are lawyers are already waiting, locking in the corner and waiting for let the election end. They will want to come in and make their money. So they're only working, preparing on how to advise these politicians to go to court. Even politicians who ordinarily shouldn't have come into the race, they will advise them to go to court. Smart lawyers, they're already waiting,
You
looking
call them
for
smart lawyers.
yes, a little loophole they will cash in on and make their money. So there must be legal battle.
All right.
during these elections. Well, I mean, everything is starting out interesting, especially in Osun. But now let's talk about how this vote, because many times what I've heard people say, the Osun election is like a litmus test for what will happen come 2027 for the general elections. What are the potential wins you hope will happen in Osun State that you think should also be replicated in the general elections for 2027?
All right. If the Accords party candidate, who is the incumbent governor, if he wins, if they allow him to win, because from what I have read, as a political scientist, if the election is free and fair, he is going to win. So if that plays in the general election come 2027, I also expect that the president will win. Yes, because right now, I have not seen any credible opposition that can win the incumbent president of Nigeria. I have not seen. The opposition parties are all in disarray. They're all in disarray. And that is to the advantage of the president and his party.
But they claim, most of these parties have claimed that the APC is very instrumental to all of the factioning and disarray, as you'd call it, within these parties. What's your take on that? Is it that they allowed the APC to have such influence over their party, or it is a case of them not having an ideology strong enough that each of them can agree to pursue a common goal for 2027?
Are you still talking about ideology? Is there any politician in Nigeria that has any ideology? There's no ideology. But I tell you, in politics, the intricacies you are seeing, the manipulations, infiltrating, the ruling party infiltrating other political parties is allowed. It's a political strategy.
Yeah.
But if you want to have a united opposition that is prepared to make any impact in any election, you should watch out for these infiltrators, because definitely they will come. So I subscribe to the school of thought that is saying that is the APC that is infiltrating into this party. I agree with them.
All right.
That's one of the strategies.
All right. Let's look at politics on a very general note now. Presidential elections are 2027. And in fact, on the major headlines for yesterday, you'd see most of these political parties talking about an imminent meeting that is to happen sometime this month that is basically about merging some of these candidates from these parties, a coalition, again, of these political parties, just so that they can field a single candidate and stop the split of the vote from the opposition. What is the possibility of this, holding water?
My sister, I can tell you this. Take my word to the bank. There will never be such merger. There will never. Because the moles planted by APC in these opposition parties, they are still alive and very active there. And they are still representing their masters very, very well. So with the presence of these moles, these infiltrators in the opposition parties, such merger will never, never be allowed. Have you not heard what was attributed to the president? That he said that he can do anything to ensure that the opposition parties are not united.
So are we working towards a one-party state? What do you think about that? Is this something that would work?
I don't support a one-party system in Nigeria, because that will lead to authoritarian government, which is not good for Nigeria. But from what I am seeing now is this: as far as 2027 is concerned, APC may still maintain its dominant position.
All right. Now, conclusively, anyways, if the election remains peaceful and credible, what would make today's poll a success even before we know who the winner is?
Come again with your question.
I said, if the election remains peaceful and credible as it is going right now, what would make today's poll a success? I mean, today's election, what's going to make it a success, even before we get to know the winner?
Or you're referring to Osun, right?
Yes.
Osun State.
Yes.
Okay. If it continues this way, without any disruption, without any violence in any of the 30 local governments. I understand there are 30 local governments in Osun State. I am telling you that the incumbent governor will cruise to victory. It may not be landslide victory. It may not be, but he will cruise to victory.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Caleb Onwe, for joining us on the conversation. It was definitely interesting getting to hear your perspectives regarding the matter.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, people, it's still the Osun elections. And if you're just joining us, we have been having this conversation with Mr. Caleb Onwe. He's a journalist and a PR development communications professional. And I mean, he has also been able to expressly communicate his thoughts to us about the election for today and come 2027. Right. But I think he still sounds a bit skeptical as to whether INEC would be able to deliver to Nigerians a free, fair and credible elections. And like we say, today will set the antecedents to what we would expect for 2027.
Very true. And that's to say that INEC still has a lot of work to do in regaining the trust of Nigerians, because many Nigerians have the same school of thought. Many Nigerians do not trust INEC. In fact, most of the organizations, institutions that are said to be independent, Nigerians don't trust them. Talk about EFCC, talk about ICPC, talk about INEC. But Nigerians have their questions and their concerns about them. And I think it's high time that these institutions have got to do a whole lot more to regaining the trust of Nigerians, and they have to do that, by being accountable to Nigerians. They have to be transparent to Nigerians. This is an election time. It's an election season, and Nigerians will head to the poll after today in 2027 again to select who is going to be the #1 citizen of our nation. The senators are going to represent us in all of the senatorial districts as well. These are important positions that needs to be occupied. And who is the institution? What is the institution responsible? It is INEC. And if people lose trust on INEC, then I think we might just be heading the wrong way as well. So INEC needs to do a whole lot more to regain the trust of Nigerians.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us on this interview. We still have a lot more planned out, for today, keeping you updated on the matter